Let me start. My name is Prasad Thammineni. Today, we're going to build a Gmail triage agent. Everything we learned today can be applied in other email settings as well. Right? So we soon will roll out an Outlook version as well. We're testing it internally, but we'll have one. We people have asked for Yahoo, but Yahoo is going to be a little tricky because Yahoo is email is kind of aged and it's hard to work with to make it all happen. But we may make it possible. But the problem we are trying to solve here is the email overload, right? We get hundreds of emails a day, everything from important emails to junk emails to newsletters that we subscribe. And we have different perspectives of each one. We were trying to find the most important emails we can respond right away, while also looking through the newsletters that we subscribe to so we can stay on top of things. These are passive information, and while also unsubscribing or archiving old emails. I try to keep my inbox zero as much as possible. The only things I leave in my inbox are things that I want to respond to. Right? So that's my way of working. My wife, on the other hand, she leaves everything in the inbox. So, but she's really good at remembering things, so she doesn't need an external tool to tell what's the 5 things she needs to respond to. So what we're trying to solve here is we'll build an agent that will work within Claude. And the idea of the agent here is that it'll employ what are called agent skills. Okay? We will identify important emails, summarize newsletters, spot spam, and more importantly, learn from feedback. I would like you to think or visualize as if you're hiring a virtual assistant, a human virtual assistant for the first time, and that person has never seen your inbox. They come with certain expectations. Hey, look, I know what an important email looks like. It will look like something's addressed to you directly and nobody else. I know what newsletters look like and what spam looks like. What it doesn't know is what your preferences are and how often your preferences change and such. Okay, so that's called the feedback loop, and we'll build that into it. Where when you hire the virtual assistant, you would say, "Hey, look, I care about these few candidates, a few types of emails, prioritize them. I don't really care about others, etc." You do that frequently. Earlier days, you do it on a daily basis, but after 2 or 3 weeks, you stop doing it. And occasionally, you would let them know, "Hey, look, we have a new client. If the new client sends an email, respond quickly," or "It's my son's school is going to send an email about this topic, watch out for it," right? So that kind of feedback, all that will build into the skill as well. Okay. My name is Prasad. I'm the founder of Agentman.ai and myAgentSkills. We started building agents about 3 years ago. I'm a serial entrepreneur, always building technology or productizing technology for people to use without very little coding and so on. We've trained over 850 people on agents and agent skills over the last year and a half. We built production scale agents for customers, and here are some of the other things I've done in the past. What's Agentman? Agentman is a full lifecycle agentic and skills platform where you can build agents, test agents, monitor them, and deploy them in the wild. This is production scale kind of agents that you build. You don't need to learn. We specialize in no-code agent building. That means you're not writing any code. You're using English to build agents. And we are the first ones that employ skills within agents. It's a concept that Claude and Anthropic introduced last October. We are the ones who embraced it very quickly. We saw great value in it, and now that is changing the way we build agents, not just in us, but also across the world. We found skills to be so useful, we said, hey, why don't we launch it as a separate platform where people can build and share their skills with others. We see a year from now, there's going to be a skills marketplace. We want to be that skills marketplace. We focus mainly on business skills, not on developer skills. Right? So you will see, if you go to Agentman, My Agent Skills, you will see skills, readily available skills that you can clone and use. You will also see skills that we use on a daily basis. Anything that is prefixed with Agentman or Agentman is something that we as a company use. So you get to see what skills we use on a daily basis. Okay, so everything from what is about Agentman to how do we write our documents to how do we create PDFs, including the presentation that you're seeing here was built using a skill. This was built in 2 minutes after we brainstormed what content, what is the sequence, etc. So the actual presentation building happens in Claude using one of our skills. We offer 3 different types of services. One is teaching. As you can see, we do free and paid workshops. we teach you how you can build these skills. So our goal is to empower you so that you go do your stuff. But there are certain things which are far more complicated. We call them advanced agentic workflows. We do that in healthcare, private equity, legal, and finance. So as you're looking to bring this into your workplace, depending on your needs, we can cater to all three. We think of ourselves as an agency that you bring on to help you guide through all parts of your adoption. All right, let's jump in. That's enough about us. So a skill is basically a structured format of how you would empower an agent. So let me give you some example. Yeah. So let's go to Agentman, where we store our skills. Here, I'm going to find a skill that we can look into. For example, let's look at my email skill that I use every day to triage my email. So Prasad email triage, it looks like a document. It is in fact a document in this format called Markdown, where it has a title, it has high-level summary. Every skill comes with a short description, says automate triage skill that classifies incoming email, and so on and so forth. And then a very detailed description of how it does it. So it's like if you have to document a certain procedure or the way you do things, you would create a document such as this. Now, in addition to it, a skill also contains a lot of additional files on the left side. For example, here it has preferences.md file. This particular thing is what I call as the feedback. Is over time, you will give it feedback. The skill collects information and stores it like a memory, so that next time when it's triaging, it uses this information to say what's important and what's not. So you will see here over the last 7-8 weeks, I've been using it. It's been collecting my preferences, and it's something that continuously changes. So you can see revision 23, so it has gone to 23 different revisions. We can always go and see if we have a number of public skills that you can use. So you can see here, I think from marketing is one of the things that we use a lot. We have some very useful ones called a blog generator skill that will generate blogs that highly convert, and so on. We have a new skill now. I think we have not yet rolled out, but it's for answer engine optimization, not search engine optimization. So if you try a blog generator, this will generate blog posts that appear at a higher rank in ChatGPT or Gemini. Right? So there is a certain style and way of building it. We are testing it. At some point, we will put it in the public skills directory, and you can start using it as well. Okay? So that's what a skill looks like. So how do you use a skill? And we will now jump into making that possible. So I'm going to copy and paste a prompt here for you all to use. Let me find, sorry, all these little pop-ups. I'm going to put this in chat. So you can copy and paste this into Claude. Now, I'm assuming you already did create an Agentman account, connected to Skills MCP server, and connected Gmail. You've done all that, okay? It takes about 5 minutes. I wanted to save you all that time so you can try this out. So here it is. So I'm going to delete that initial
Prasad, if
title.
I haven't done that, I can do that at a later time as well, right? I mean, I just
yeah,
have
exactly.
Okay.
Yes, Abhi, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think this is the most important part of your entire exercise. So I want you to, one thing I would like you to take away from all this is, how do skills work? How can I apply it to not just email, but every aspect of what I do in knowledge work, right? If you can combine skills with Claude's agentic harness, we call it, Claude is basically an agent, then you can do wonders with it. Now, there is other things such as connecting to a backend, like Salesforce, etc. Do, then it just starts to multiply what you can do. And so this is basically showing you how to create a skill, how to continue to improve your skill, connect to Gmail, which is a backend, and do certain actions. Okay? So what am I telling Claude? I'm saying use the Agentman Skills MCP server. Okay, so if you connected Agentman Skills MCP server, there is a skill creator that is optimized for skill creation. Now, Claude comes with its own, but we recommend using ours. You can use both, but we recommend using ours. So using the Agentman Skills MCP server, create me an email triage skill. Okay. In fact, I would just prefix it, say skills server, skills creator. Sometimes it does not exactly follow instructions. And what does this? Three things: identify important emails, find newsletters, summarize the key insights, and archive them. I subscribe to a lot of email newsletters, and I want it to be, not having to go and open everything and read and find the two things I care about, right? Identify spam, unsubscribe, and after every run, ask me for detailed feedback: which drafts needed changes, which emails are miscategorized, and any preferences I wanted updated. So this is the feedback loop, okay? And name it, I'm going to change this to saying temp email triager because I already have one there. So once I do it, it's going to, assuming you have connected a skills MCP server, it will download the skill creation guide, right? So there's another skill that shows you how to create a great skill, and so on. Now I have the skill creation guide. Let me craft a comprehensive email triage skill. And since now, if you're using it the first time, it'll ask you for approvals, right? So every tool call, Claude will need approval for the first time. You can say always or one time, right? So I've done all that, so it's not asking me for any of that, right? So now it's got the guide. Let me create the skill and validate it before publishing. Uh, if you don't see this skill creation guide, it's most likely creating the skill locally and storing it within Claude. And the place that it stores it is here, right? So if we go skills, customize, something called skills here, it will end up storing it here. Now, people may ask the question, why do I need to use Agentman if it's stored here? Skills that are stored in Claude are private to you, right? They're only available within Claude. Skills that are stored in Agentman can be shared with the team, as well as are available in ChatGPT. Okay, so that means you're basically creating an intelligence layer, the way you do things, and taking it wherever you use AI. And soon in Microsoft Copilot and Gemini. So when they introduce those, right? So I'm going to go back to my chat where it's creating my skill. Right, it's validating and so on. It's gone ahead, got the guide, right? So, well, it's flickering and where it's flickering, it's doing a lot of things. So, one of the things, while it's creating, let me share with you how we create skills, right? You can create a skill using a prompt like this, or you can give past work. Let's say you are used to creating PowerPoint presentations that look like a certain style, right? So you can take 3 or 4 examples of those, create PDFs versions of it, or in PPTX versions, and give it to it. In fact, Google Slides also the same thing, but you have to pay it. And say, create me a PowerPoint creation skill that captures the style, the colors, the voice, etc. of mine, and the patterns. And Claude will create those. And now you have a reusable PowerPoint creation skill. So if you look at our team skills, or in fact, our public skills, there is a PPTX skill, right? Here, Agentman PPTX style skill. You will see here what colors to use when creating PowerPoints, what icon fonts to use, slide titles, Inter and Calibri, right? And the font sizes, right? We have reference files for different colors, graphics, layouts, narrative, right? So if you're not sure, you can clone this particular, you can see the word clone on the right side here, and then use it as well, right? You can say clone Agentman and revise it for my slides. So you have a good starting point, okay? So that's one way. That another way you can create skills is use past work to create a skill that will consistently reproduce new output. Okay. All right. So this looks like temp email triage already exists from a previous session. Let me update the new version. So now if you try to create a skill that already exists with a certain name, it'll say, hey, look, I'm going to update it instead of trying to create a whole brand new one, right? So let me come back here and see if I can find the temp one. temp triage skill, right? It's March 17, which is today. It's updating it. Okay, great. So while that's happening, right? So I'm going to switch back to my Claude session here and go update it successfully. Let me publish it so it's live, right? What publishing is doing is basically creating a new version of it, or going from draft to publish finalized mode. The next time you can update it, will create a new version, right? So currently in Agentman, we don't have the ability to go back to a previous version. We can add, we maintain all of those. But when you do, now you can try out different versions, create copies of it, and so on. So you can try version 1, version 2, and such in the future. But that's something that we will introduce. So all right, so let's get back to the second actual part of using it, right? So I'm going to go and say triage my, okay, now this is really important. When you connected Gmail to your account, you probably got a warning sign, etc., and you probably overcame that. Claude also comes with a Gmail connector. Okay, you may ask the question, why would I use Agentman's Gmail connector as opposed to Claude's? Claude's Gmail connector is limited in number of ways. One, it doesn't have the notion of archiving emails and unsubscribe. We have those capabilities, right? Very important part. Number two, it doesn't have task management. So in our Gmail connector, we can actually create tasks. So you will see this is my Gmail account. On the right side, you can see a variety of tasks are managed by Claude, right? So Claude basically is, when I'm triaging emails, I'm literally putting all these tasks, and at the end I can say, hey, look at my task, let's go and make this happen, okay? So triage my email, work email. Now, the third reason why we have our own MCP server is because you can have multiple email accounts. I have work email, right? I have, if I look at here, there's also personal email. So here you can see here you have Thammineni email here. So I can enable this as well if I want to, right? So I can set triage my work email, making sure that that connector is enabled, right? So this way, otherwise it won't get confused. I turn off the Gmail, Claude Gmail connector and use ours instead. So triage my work email is all that I need. At this point, when I use the word triage my email, Claude already knows that I use a certain skill because I've done it before. It remembers it, right? So, but you may have to say triage my work email using the skill and the name of the skill. Okay, the first time, second time, right? So, some emails that I got, right? So let's get through, right? There's literally triaging our live email, by the way. So if you can see here, this is all live email. The reason I kept it like this and not triages today is to show you what happens to all this, everything else kind of email, right? So this saves me a lot of time. Needs your action. Raven is telling me, hey, Maven, your class lesson starts now. These are all the newsletters, keynote recap, and so on, right? So scan later, archive the, did it use the, sorry, it looks like it has not used my skill at all. Okay, all right. So it's failed for me as well. Using the Prasad email triager skill. Because my skill does the whole feedback loop and archival, etc. That's the default skill that Claude has. So you can see the difference between the two. Okay. So now it's loading the skill from MCP server, right? It's opening the skill, loading all the instructions that I have given in that skill, and completing it. Okay. It's found all of it. Okay. Shut this down a little bit so we can see what's doing. Now let me load the preferences. Remember the preferences file I had shown who is important, who is not. That's the feedback loop that had memorized a lot of those things, right? So it was loaded. Now fetching your unread inbox emails, right? So if it's read, then it's not, but it's reading, categorizing emails and batch reading for classification, right? So based on all the instructions that I provided. Okay? So while that's happening, let me give you additional concept of what skills are going to do it, right? So this way you can understand the underlying ideas behind it, so you can apply it in the future. Okay, so here it is. We think of skills in three different ways, right? So we as humans learn a lot of things that are transferable from one situation to another. We call the foundational layer. So if you are a marketing person, you learn about search engine optimization or writing great blogs. You take that skill set and go find a new job. You're going to transfer those skill sets that we call the foundational layer, right? Then you layer your personal preferences. This could be to do with how you deal with per VIP senders, etc. And the last layer is situational. That means every month, who you think, which are active deals or current projects changes. So you give it more frequent updates to it, right? So that's what you're doing in the email workflow. If you think about from an email perspective, if you understand these three layers, then you can translate that to every business context. So in marketing, at the bottom, you have content crafting, where you do SEO patterns, etc. Then when you join a company, you will layer the brand and company voice and the guidelines, etc., that the company uses broadly. Doesn't matter what kind of content they're creating, whether it's video or audio or text or blogs or name it. And then for each campaign, you will layer campaign specific skills. So if you can actually create multiple skills and layer them in the stack, so that you can say, hey, always load my brand and voice skills, and now for this campaign, use this particular skill to create it. And we have customers who actually have built a stack, and the leaders build out the campaigns by brainstorming, and then give it to the people who execute the skills, and then they go build out all the content at breakneck speed. Now, the skills can also be used for creating prompts to create images. And a great example is, for example, is our blog, right? So if you look at my agent skills, you'll see learn guides here, right? This image, for instance, was created by a skill that say the image creation prompt, which is also available as a public skill. Then the image for that was generated in Nano Banana using an MCP connector. So you can see the Nano Banana. And the entire content was created in our voice, Agentman brand voice, the way we write things, and optimized for answer search engines. So there were 4 skills help create this blog post and written and published completely within from Claude. Okay. And obviously, all of us write blogs in an entire company, and we use the same set of skills. So if you understand that concept, then you can translate that to other areas as well, like private equity and so on and so forth, right? So we have a number of customers where we're building skills for private equity, for legal, and so on, where we create skills layers and then they deploy it within the regions. Okay. Finally, let's go back and check on our email. It said, hey, look, I graduated from BITS Pilani in India, I'm undergrad. It's saying there's a sponsorship request, versatile deployment failure, there's some newsletters, and so on. Then it has auto-archived 40 of them. Right? So good. See, go back to my email. Right? So this where are the archives? Didn't happen. Sometimes Claude fails to execute all this. So let me continue. Maybe that's why. I create my skills in using Opus 4.6, but I run it all using Sonnet. So here, I think one of the things is Opus tends to take a longer. I should just use Sonnet and do it faster. All right. So to sum up, right? So the way we think, having practitioners of this for a long time, by the end of the year, you will see more and more people codifying their expertise into skills or a collection of skills and deploying them within agents like an Agentman or within Claude or other agentic frameworks or applications, or maybe all of it, because it doesn't matter where you use skills. As if you have agents loading that skill from a single place, the experience is going to be the same. Okay. There will be people who will be selling their expertise by codifying it. Let's say lawyers that do M&A, they can completely codify their expertise and sell them from $10 to $10,000. and then you buy it and then use it for your many deals because you now know that person is highly followed, his industry influencer, has great practitioner, etc. So there'll be a skills marketplace where knowledge work will be sold, bought and sold, and help everybody else, not just the one company that knows about it. Okay, so yes, Claude's free account does not allow custom collectors. Even ChatGPT's free account does not allow custom connectors. You have to pay for it. Whatever we discussed today works in ChatGPT, not so seamlessly, but it does work if you make an effort to make it work. As I was saying earlier, Benny, is that when I create my skills, I use Opus, but when I'm using it, I use Sonnet. And for email, extended doesn't matter. You can just use regular, and it's quite fast. Uh, Okay, so how do we evaluate those skills? It's a very good question. So we are building out. So when you build, let's say, a blog post, how do you make sure that the blog post complies with the standards that you have? So you can build another skill called evaluator skill. That is takes a number of examples that you have done and say, hey, now that I've built this blog post, load this evaluation skill and rate it for me. So it's no different. It's like I tell people that when your junior finishes the work, they come to senior, and senior probably puts on their experienced hat and then applies those learnings. The senior person then can codify that expertise into their own evaluation skills, and then you can apply those. And you can ask Claude, maybe in the same chat thread or a different chat thread, to be able to say, go evaluate it for you. The other thing you can also do is within the skill itself, you can create an evaluator saying that at the end of every production of a blog post, load the evaluator to evaluate the output and then revise it. So there is that as well. You can build evaluation loop into the skill. Yeah, so yes. The what will determine the price of these skills, right? So just like we have on LinkedIn, there are some people we highly respect and follow, and if they give the same advice, we attribute $1 million to the advice. If somebody who is not that influential or doesn't have the same kind of platform, they give the same advice, we don't give it as much importance, right? So that's what's going to happen. There'll be a world of skills where if it's the same set of skills, where it came from, if it comes from a leading influencer, leading practitioner, you'll probably pay a lot of money. It's like hiring McKinsey and paying them millions of dollars, or hiring a local consulting firm, paying hundreds of thousands of dollars. And maybe if you do it as an A/B test, you'll probably get the same output, right? So but the world is built with this idea that if I hire McKinsey, I'll get better output. So that's what we think will happen. Now, there will be social proof. People will start giving feedback on these skills. There will be a marketplace where you can look at how the skill works. So all the signals will help. But I think at the end of the day, who is producing the skill will matter a lot, or which company or which person is producing the skill will drive most of the revenue towards them first, and then the rest over time will hopefully make money as well. Oh, okay. The question is, I mean, will you have multiple versions of the same skill? Yes, you could, right? So as a skills producer, you could say, I'm going to produce a set of skills for a small private equity firm. They don't need such complexity. They just use my expertise, and I'm going to offer them that. And they will have basic simulator. But a larger private equity firm that takes a lot of input signals, a lot of data sources into consideration, you will probably build a $100,000 skill, right? So, and then you then license it out to them, maybe on a yearly basis. Maybe you sell them once, and then you come back the next year, say, have a new version of it that takes in new data sources to help you, do this better and so on. So you as a marketplace player will set the price. Okay. Any other questions? Right. I don't know. I've been on Maven for only a couple of sessions. So if you will get a feedback form, please do give your feedback. It'll help, you know, other people who are going to join these sessions, say, hey, this is a session that I would like to join or not. So you'll help other people pick and choose which sessions they want to join. We will continue to launch other lightning sessions like these. There'll be one for Outlook, but we are considering how to build an MCP without writing code as another one of these sessions. You will get a recording of this so you can try it out at leisure. There's a lot that we breeze through in a lightning session, but you may want to give it a slow down and try it out and experience it again firsthand. Thank you all.